Hello, good evening, everybody, on this pleasant Friday night from Lehigh, Utah. Welcome to the Rewind Sports Network and our coverage of Skyridge basketball presented by Heidemann and Associates. Tonight, there's plenty at stake here in Lehigh as the American Fork Cavemen take on the Skyridge Falcons in the final night of the regular season. And with my broadcast partner, Nate Thatcher, Alexander Miller, joining you here from Skyridge High School here in Lehigh. Thatcher, throw the records out the window, buddy. Everything's at stake here tonight. American Fork can win the region, or at least a piece of it tonight. Skyridge, however, can beat all of the Region 3 teams at least once. There is plenty at stake here tonight.
Yeah, going into the final game of the regular season before state tournament, everything's off the table. There's seeding on the line. There's championships on the line. And so you're going to play for much more than just a W tonight. You're playing for legacy. And just like you mentioned, both Skyridge and American Fork have things to look forward to in the coming weeks. And so this is going to be a high-intensity game right from the get-go.
Skyridge, of course, losing on the road at Pleasant Grove Tuesday. American Fork winning on the road at Westlake Tuesday. Thatcher, what stands out to you about these two teams and the way they play the game?
So for Skyridge, I think immediately, and I'll get to this when we talk about our keys to the game, but it starts down low in the paint with Jordan Kohler. I mean, he's just a dominant force. And so if they're able to balance, Skyridge is such a dangerous team. They play well, they stay communicated, and even when things go bad, they're looking to move the ball. American Fork, across the board, they're the physical team. They know how to crash the glass, they know how to rebound. They're going to fight their way in every single game they play in.
So let's get into the Heidemann Associates keys to the game now, Thatcher, presented by Heidemann Associates, the full-service law firm that's committed to winning for you, the client. What do both teams need to do to get out of here with a W?
So for the home team Falcons, my key for them is the perimeter shooting. Like I mentioned, Jordan Kohler is one of the best players in the post in the state of Utah. He's physical and he requires multiple defenders when he's in the paint. Because of this, the three-point line will be open. Kohler needs to find his shooters, but more importantly, the shot needs to fall tonight. I'm looking to see if Tate Larson especially can get back to his typical stat line from deep. And then for the Cavemen, I think they just need to set the tempo. Last time these two teams played, it was the Cavemen who dominated the second and fourth quarters. While great teams always finish, right? They get the W. It's the elite who do it from the beginning to the end. And the better you control the pace, the more you focus on the game at hand without worrying about region finishes and seeding for the state tournament at hand.
Well, Jeff Gardner in his 8th season. Of course, Ryan Cuff in his 6th season at American Fork, winning his 100th game last time on Tuesday at the helm of the Cavemen. As we said, a lot at stake here tonight. American Fork wins. They are the Region 3 co-champions with Lehigh, unless the Lehigh Pioneers lose at Pleasant Grove, in which American Fork will be the outright champions, but if Skyridge wins, Lehigh will take the crown outright. And we are underway here on this frantic Friday night, on this final night of the regular season here in Lehigh. Here is Tiger Cuff, the leading scorer for AF, matched up against Dane Housley, one of the best defenders for the Falcons, rather. Diego Mulford, the transfer from Cyprus. 10 on the shot clock. Lob on the block. Here's Rawson. Blake Rawson kicks it to Cuff. Cuff kicks it out. Mulford, catch it, shoot three. Off the mark, tip, and the rebound is grabbed by Ryder Gentry.
I thought it was a good offensive possession. They went down into the paint and then kicked it back out. They had some good looks, just didn't go for them in that opening fight.
Kohler over to Gagan, back over to Housley, one of the 5 seniors on the floor. Tate Larson, first three on the way. That rims out, and the rebound is chased down by Jared Shepard.
I said that shot needed to fall for them to win tonight. Good look for Larson.
Reese Dent is in the starting lineup in place of Jake Mulholland, who's the normal starter. 19 on the shot clock. Here's Cuff. Down low to Rawson, backs his way in and scores. And that's going to be a challenge, Thatcher, for Jordan Kohler to deal with all night.
Yeah, great post move that time by Blake Rawson. Just takes Kohler right to the back of the bucket, turns around, gets a nice good layup off the left side.
3 6'8" players on the roster, Thatcher, by the way. Reese Dent 6'8", Rawson 6'8", and Xander Fleece 6'8", as Ethan Gagan hits the first triple in the game from the wing side off a great feed from Housley, and the Falcons have their first lead.
So I feel like both teams are already fulfilling their keys to win this game. It's just a matter of who can do it longer. It's going to be the longevity that plays a crucial key to who wins this game.
Thatcher, wouldn't you say probably the depth would have a factor too, because we saw this Skyridge team, they play only 7 or 8 guys a game as Halsey comes out of there with a pick. Goes right at Shepard, can't bank it home. Getting the offensive board. Kohler goes up strong and banks it home. Good patience from Kohler and 5 quick points for the Ridge.
Kohler's already immediately showing his dominance. This post presence for both teams is going to be a factor to watch.
How about that post move from Dent, able to get it to go over the smaller Gentry. Again, 3, 6, 8 players on this team. Reese Dent, Blake Rawson, and Xander Hale. Here's Jordan Kohler handing off to Housley. Back to Kohler, wing side, slip screen 3, left it short. And Gentry won't be able to get the rebound, out of bounds it goes. Just on the way here, Alexander Tumulip alongside Nate Thatcher, Doug Jardine on the camera here at Skyridge High School. It is 5-4 early on. We just got underway. The girls' game ran long, and then they had their senior night recognitions afterwards, which is why we were so late getting started. Diego Mulford to the basket. Boy, he is so shifty with the ball. A great catch-and-shoot finisher as well, and is 6'5". Kohler in the block against Rawson, goes to work, turns the shoulder, left foot, left-handed jump hook, that won't go. Here comes Cuff, lobbing ahead, Reese Dent to the basket, count it, and 1. How about the big man running the floor there for American Fork there, Thatcher?
Yeah, so far in this first quarter, I love the spacing by the Cavemen, especially down low in the post. Reese Dent, Blake Rawson, Diego Mulford, like all these guys that are on the floor, they just know where to be at the right moments. And especially that becomes crucial in transition. The more that you space the floor, the more you allow yourself an opportunity to score and obviously get to the charity stripe where he converts.
3-point play good, 9-5 in favor of American Fork. Larson on the block. Kohler, tough turnaround shot, but he can make those. That's off the front rim, no good. Cuff, though, falls down trying to get the rebound, but gets it off to Shepard.
He almost pulled off a Dirk Nowitzki move down there.
And he can hit those too, Jordan Kohler, for a guy his size, as Dent backs it out to Cuff. Rawson on the block, doubled. Trying to kick it out. One more, Mulford, Dent for 3. Cha-ching! An immediate timeout call by Jeff Gardner. Great ball movement there by AF. And the Cavemen, with 8 consecutive points, they now lead by a touchdown. It is a 30-second timeout. We will keep it right here.
How about Reese Dent? Early 8 points right now for the Cavemen, and they're setting the tone, right? So they started first in the post, made a physical presence near the bucket, and then you see that Rawson's double-teamed on that far side, so what does he do? Looks out to the perimeter, throws a cross pass to Mulford, shoves it down to the sideline for a great wide-open 3 by Dent. I mean, they're controlling the tempo. They're setting it right from the immediate start, and they're getting any shot to go.
And Thatcher, that's what we talked about coming into this game, you know. Skyridge is going to want to come in playing spoiler in this one, and American Fork had to set the tempo out front. Like you said, great job by Ryan Cuff's crew. Not only setting the tempo, but getting out and getting the big men running in transition too, something we didn't think we'd see a lot of.
Yeah, and Kohler's starting out a little bit cold, so let's see if the guards for the Falcons can get things going, and then maybe he'll join him in later.
Kohler can't hit that 3. Rawson the rebound. Here comes Cuff. Dent leaves it behind now for Shepard. 8 consecutive points here for the Cavemen. They have held the Falcons scoreless for almost 2.5 minutes. Dent turns it over, though. Here comes Larson. Pull-up 3, wing side. Left it short, tipped by Kohler. Won't go, tangled for it underneath, and the rebound is fought for and grabbed by Cuff. Cuff running up the floor. Great extended move with the right hand. Make it 10 straight for AF.
Once again, it's knowing where you are in transition, getting the easiest and best bucket. The Cavemen are doing that. I'm looking for the Falcons to try and capitalize and match.
Jackson Mosteller coming into the game now as Tate Larson from the corner. That barely nicks the rim. And the rebound is captured by Shepard. Here comes Cuff. Cohen Fountain, another one of the seniors, also getting set to check in at the scores table as well. Wolford, pick and roll. Rawson, and we get a travel, as Rawson was a little indecisive underneath.
It's a difficult play to move, especially shuffling your feet, right? Halsey, the defender, kind of tries to pull a charge there, so his body's on the ground. So where can you move with your feet when you're trying to get it out of there when you've already picked up your dribble? Great defense that time by the Falcons and Halsey as they try and push in on this really early 9-point lead by the Cavemen.
4 minutes without a point here almost for Skyridge. Halsey, tough turnaround shot. Banks it, won't go, and the rebound cleared by Dent. Skyridge has missed their last 5 attempts from the field. Haven't scored now in almost 4 minutes.
And Larson is 0 of 3 from deep, and that was going to be the key for me to have them stay competitive in this game.
No doubt about that. I mean, everybody can shoot the 3, though, for Skyridge, so... But especially a guy like Larson can get hot in a hurry. Shot clock down to 7 here for Cuff. Trying to drive baseline, kicks it back, dead. 4 in the shot clock. Has to put up a tough contested 3, left it short. Offensive rebound by Xander Hale, and a putback. Just out-muscling Jackson Mosteller there for the rebound. Make it 12 straight here for AF. They lead by 11.
I mean, that size is just already noticeable, and we're just in the first quarter.
Mosteller on the roll, and Gentry had that one go right through his hands. That's something you don't see very often. Halsey out, Fiennes in, Mosteller out as well, Cohen Fountain in. As Jeff Gardner trying to find something to stop this run. It has been all American Fork here in this first quarter. And Skyridge trying to find some traction, looking a step slow here out of the gate. Cross-court swing, Shepard, one more. Xander Hale out front, back to Mulford. Again, 10 on the shot clock. Cuff, trying to save it, he does. And it'll be American Fork ball with 7 on the shot clock.
So, really good defensive possessions by Skyridge these last 2 times down the floor. Obviously, the Cavemen were able to get the offensive rebound, get a second chance bucket, but they're milking this clock down. We're down to 7 seconds on the shot clock, and so far we haven't seen that much movement.
6 on the shot clock. And we're going to get a blocking foul called against Housley as he embellished that a little bit too much for the officials' liking.
Yeah, Clough got a little physical right there. Tried to pull another type of Dirk move, right? Shove off, little fadeaway, back turn towards the basket. They're going to call it against Skyridge that time. It'll be interesting to see how the refs will call that as this game progresses, and probably the more physical that it gets.
Justin Thorpe, number 23, was actually in at that last stoppage. He checks back in. Housley is also back in as well. Again, Skyridge has not scored now in almost 5.5 minutes. Needing something to break this duck. On the block. Good save there. Fountain trying to get it. He does. As Rawson chasing him down, tries to shovel it off, and now Fountain's down the other end, and we got an official's timeout.
He immediately grabbed that knee.
Yes. And he immediately grabbed that knee. Students are trying to stay clear down there as this doesn't look good. Fountain tried to pass it off to Kohler, who was coming up behind him, and then got his knee caught in the ground. This is something you don't want to see. So while they attend to Cohen Fountain, we'll step aside here on the rewind. Cohen Fountain being led to the bench with some assistance by head coach Jeff Gardner and co. Now they have got him over to the Intermountain Medical Health table over there. It will be American Fork ball with 28.1 on the clock here in the first quarter. 16-5 in favor of AF. The Cavemen haven't allowed Skyridge to score since the nearly 6-minute mark of this quarter. They're on a 12-0 run at the moment. 9 on the shot, 9 on the clock. Rawson on the cut. Shepard to the basket, left it short. Kohler racing up the floor with it with 3. Kohler, this will count if it goes, and it will not, as it is short. So the quarter ends with Skyridge having not scored a point over the final 6.5 minutes. They've got some work to do here in the second quarter. We'll be back on this work on the Rewind Sports Network. Rewind Sports Network's coverage of high school basketball continues next week. Join us Tuesday to Friday for all the playoff action as the first and second rounds of the UHSAA playoffs get underway. Check KSLSports.com for the streaming games Tuesday through Friday next week. With Nate Thatcher, Alex Erickson up here at Skyridge High School. American Fork up by 11. Skyridge didn't score over that final 6.5 minutes of that quarter. Thatcher, how has American Fork been able to do it here thus far?
They've just been able to control the pace and setting of what they're doing on the half-court offense side of the ball. They're passing the ball around the perimeter, and then they're moving without the ball on the baseline. They're getting easy looks at the basket. We haven't seen too many tough looks. And then for Skyridge, they got a lot of good looks, just weren't able to get anything to go. Like I said, the key is just to have the shots fall tonight, and that just hasn't been the case there in the first quarter. It'll be interesting to see how they respond here in the second.
Halsey off a couple of screens. Gagan for three. Boy, do they need that. Breaks a nearly 6-minute scoring drought, and the first basket in almost 7 minutes for Skyridge. That's Gagan's second three. Gagan almost came up with a steal, meanwhile, on the other end. Cuff, pull up, 17 feet. He ain't missing that most of the time. Kohler matched up against Rawson. Steps back, takes the shot, blocked by Rawson. Kohler was looking for a foul, didn't get it. And then meanwhile, the rip on the other end by Housley. Housley coming up against Tiger Cuff. And Cuff just backs off, and Housley banks that one in.
Yeah, Jordan's having a cold first half right now, but I love the presence of the guards. They're pressuring high on the defensive side, getting good steals. Just a matter of them finishing in transition. Great job that time by Housley.
Dane Housley, the senior, one of the 4 seniors, or 5 seniors on this team. Here is Reese Dent, handing off to Cuff. 15 on the shot clock. Again, American Fork getting deep into the shot clock here. Lob into the corner. Shepard for 3. Off the top of the backboard, but just a bad break there as Housley was not able to control the rebound off the carom from the shot clock.
Oh, interesting
in
call
fact,
here.
I stand corrected. They're actually going to call it that it hit off the shot clock, so that's why it's going back to Skyridge. I got confused for a second myself.
Yeah, Housley clapped his hands because it looked like he thought that he knew it was off of him, but they're going to keep the ball here.
Kohler, nice pick and roll, up and under, can't finish it. Bounce into the corner, Mulford. Christian Dowles checked in at that last stoppage, by the way. Mulford trying to dump it off underneath, nobody home. Mostedler, corner 3, bingo! And a good start to this quarter for Skyridge. They're back within 5.
Yeah, all the focus was put on Jordan in that first quarter and, these first few minutes of the second. But now the perimeter's open and they're finally falling. And now it's only a 5-point game.
Mostedler has a 3. Gagan has the other 2 threes. Dent. And a good rip there from Gagan. Another turnover. It's already the 3rd one of this quarter. For American Fork, Housley to the basket. Oh my goodness! Put his defender in the spin cycle, and we're back to a 3-point game.
They are active on the defense, and that's leading to easy offensive opportunities. They're grabbing steals, they're pressuring from the backs of players, trying to just nick the ball out. This is a great response by the Falcons here in this second quarter.
7 straight for the Falcons now. 17 on the shot clock. Cuff dumps it down. Here's Rawson. Turns. Lost that out of bounds. It'll stay here. There'll be 10 on the shot clock. Good rip that time from Housley. And you talked about it, Thatcher. It seems like when one's getting active, everybody else follows now for Skyridge defensively.
Yeah, I think it all started with Dane Housley. He's kind of shifting away from the guy that he's mainly defending when they're bringing it down in the post. Look at that again. Grabs another steal, Falcons control. I mean, it's consistent now in the second quarter. He is actively creating a part of this small comeback they're making here in the first half.
American Fork did not turn the ball over any point during the first quarter. They now have 5 in the first 4 minutes almost here in this quarter. Tough leading the charge on the steal. Here comes Rawson, lobs it down to Hale, and we got a foul. In the post, no shot. Foul will be called there on Mosteller, his first, team first of the quarter. Jax Clark, the sophomore forward, comes in now. For Ryan Cuff, who once again is in his 6th year with American Fork, got his 100th win on Tuesday against Pleasant Grove, or against Westlake rather, in addition to his 2 state championships. Sun Tiger was a very big part of that, as the foul is committed down low again. And once again, I think it's going to be on Mosteller, and it is. That's his 2nd now in almost a minute.
Yeah, the key for Mosteller is your footwork, right? You don't want to let guys come past you, and that's often when you cause defensive fouls is you're grabbing players because you're not in the right space with your feet. That time he needs to control the baseline, angle the player towards the middle of the court. You'll often get away from those common fouls that you often get as a post defensive player.
Cuff, tough pass. Hale back to Shepard coming up from down deep. Cuff, tough shot, doesn't get it to fall, and Kohler grabs the rebound. Here comes Housley. Skyridge again was trailing by as many as 10, or rather by as many as 13 just a minute ago. Not the case anymore. Tate Larson, Kenneth Daftery. Good look there in the corner, and the rebound is captured by Hale.
Larson 0 for 4 now.
He's been hot and cold, Thatcher, at some points this year, especially the game against Westlake where he started the game 0 for 7. Shepard hits that 3 with a hand in his face. And a big one at that. It stretches the lead back to 6, and Ryan Cuff will take a timeout. And we will take one alongside Coach Cuff as well. We'll be back after this word from Igloo Outfitters with American Fork leading by 6. I want to thank Igloo Outfitters for their sponsorship of the Rewind Sports Network and our coverage of Skyridge basketball, which is presented by Heidemann and Associates. Alexander Timolip with Nate Thatcher here and Doug Jardine on the camera. Thatcher, I was talking to you just now. It does seem like this game is going to be a game of runs after the start American Fork had.
Yeah, so first off, like you mentioned, it started with the Cavemen just getting off to a fantastic start in the first quarter. Skyridge is able to make some defensive adjustments. They're making that comeback of their own. The shots are falling. And now it's just a matter of time of the longevity, right? How long can these runs last? How long can you keep the momentum? I think it's going to be like a pendulum, just swinging back and forth all night long. So whoever gets that last swing of momentum in the final moments of this game probably wins it.
Seems to always happen in Region 3 games, right? The talent level is all equal. The coaches are so good. Here's Kohler, backing down on Hale. Tough shot, rolls off the rim. Clark the rebound. Clark almost didn't see that pass coming to him from Cuff, but he gets it back. American Fork had their lead cut to 3 just a little bit ago, but a 3 there by Blake Shepard, or Jared Shepard, as we were going to timeout. Put the lead back up to 6, and here he is right now out front. 14 on the shot clock. Shepard kicks it out. Nice dish inside, and Hale with the finish, and 5 quick points, and American Fork's lead back to 8.
When the Cavemen are succeeding on the offensive side of the ball, they're giving up a good look for a better look. And that time, great dish and drive, post move down low. Xander's able to get a nice easy bucket for a layup.
Kohler being pestered out front there. Look at that move as Kohler goes up and under, and a foul is called on Xander Hale.
I mean, Jordan's just trying to get anything going right now. They're often allowing him a post-up isolation opportunity. His back's to the basket, but great defensive possessions, especially by Xander Hale, who's mainly taking that opportunity and, I guess more importantly, the duty to defend him in the post. Doing a great job, but Kohler's able to go to the charity stripe.
Mulford and Ross come back in. Gentry, the other side, comes back in for Mosteller. 2:36 officially left on the clock here in the first half. American Fork's led by as many as 11 points, as Kohler makes the second. Makes it a 7-point game. Here is Diego Mulford, the transfer from Cyprus. Mulford lost control of it. Rawson drives, goes right around Kohler and scores. Nothing Kohler could do about that one, unfortunately. And it's back to a 9-point lead here for American Fork. They led by as many, as I said, as 11. Gentry, open look, three-pointer, bingo! So the three-point line is starting to be a little bit more friendly as Skyridge gets back within 6 with under 2 to go.
Yeah, so the key to that open opportunity was a lot of movement without the ball. Allows for an open shot when you finally do get it.
That three off the mark. Housley goes up and gets the rebound. Housley sprinting up with the floor in transition. Gentry fighting for position down low on the smaller Mulford, but Mulford guards about 5 or 6, well, guards about 4 or 5 positions. And as I say that, there's a foul. You only laugh, Thatcher, because that never happens when I say it.
Yeah.
And you even got Doug Jardine, our cameraman, laughing over here, a former UHSA official himself.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed here in the second quarter, Dane Housley's done a great job of being active. When you have your guard that's rebounding on the defensive side, he's beating out your forwards. That's something to say about his passion and his execution. And I just think he's really controlling the tempo for them on both sides of the ball right now.
It was Jeff Gardner who called him an absolute gamer in the win against Lehigh as Housley, boy, that one got ejected from the rim. Cross-court swing now. Rawson matched up on Gentry. Mulford coming around a couple of screens. Maybe got a little too unselfish there, but was lucky to get it to Rawson. Minute left in the half. Rawson goes to work, count it, and one. And they're having a lot of trouble down low. That's just a product, I think, of Skyridge just not having a matchup for Blake Rawson or any of the 6'8 guys on the team right now for American Fork.
Yeah, there's a look in the guys in the post's eyes when they know they want an isolation opportunity, a post-up opportunity, you will. I could see it in Rawson that time as he's able to get the free throw to go. He's able to just back up, slowly play it, right? The defender's arms are up. They don't want to cause a foul themselves before the shot. And then he's just able to work his arms up there, get the bucket to go, and the foul. I mean, Blake's having a great first half. He's already got 7 points.
Reese Dent has 8. All the first quarter. He is yet to score here in the second quarter, though. Gentry off the slip screen. Well, he had Larson open in the corner, but didn't see him. Now they reset with 20 on the shot clock. On the block, Mo Stelter. Back to Larson. Catch and shoot 3. Left it short. Fight for the rebound, and American Fork will have the last say here in the first half. American Fork's led by as many as 11 points. It was cut down to 3 to start this quarter. As the Falcons fall back into a zone here with 18 seconds left. Ten seconds. Cross court. Cuff drives into traffic. Shepard goes to work, turn around, got it! That's it for the first half. And so Skyridge got close, but American Fork has made it once again. Point game, Thatcher, here at the half.
Yeah, what a great response. We mentioned it just halfway into the second quarter. This was going to be a game of runs. First quarter belonged to American Fork, and then Skyridge was able to respond in the first half of the second quarter, get it close, and then the Cavemen said, nope, it's our game again, and they're back up by 11, just as you mentioned.
Cuff's team is halfway home to a region championship. They got 16 more minutes with an 11-point lead to defend. The Rewind Sports Network that's committed to waiting for you, the client, Heidemann and Associates, and also by Igloo Outfitters, the coziest wearable sleeping bag that has you covered during the chilly days and nights. The score at the half, American Fork 30, Skyridge 19. Back with the second half after this word on the Rewind Sports Network. Welcome back, everyone, to KSL Sports Rewind and our coverage of Skyridge basketball presented by Heidemann and Associates. American Fork up 30-19 at the break. Alexander Smoke alongside Nate Thatcher with Doug Jardine on the camera. And so, Nate, the overarching storyline of that first half, we were talking about it just before we came back on the air, is just American Fork is the bigger, stronger team like we expected, and Skyridge is just not getting a lot of their good looks to fall.
Yeah, I think for the Cavemen, you talked about it in that first quarter multiple times, they just have height, right? And that's just something that you can't coach, you can't teach. but they're able to get a really good post presence. And so we saw multiple times, right? Blake Rawson had 7 points in the first half, just able to get things going. Reese Dent set the tone early in the first. But for Skyridge, they set up good plays. I felt like Gardner really called out what he wanted, and especially from the perimeter, right, which was one of my keys to the game. They needed those shots to drop, though. That was the critical part, right? You can get as many good looks as you want, but you can't win a game unless that ball goes through the net. It just wasn't able to go in the first half. I thought Larson had, 5 good looks from the perimeter. None of them were able to fall. We were able to see him tickle the twine a little bit there as they're able to prep for the second half. But I really liked how Dane Housley responded on the defensive end. It really seemed to spark that Falcons defense to kind of etch a little bit of a comeback there in the second quarter. Can they do it again here in the third? Get themselves back in this. I think the key to get back in this is to make it a 2-possession game going into the fourth.
And Nate, must I hasten to remind you, this is the last home game for Skyridge, likely for this season. I mean, depending on when the RPI comes out tomorrow, where they're seated, this is basically their senior night. So how huge is it going to be to have their seniors, like Housley, like Larson, and Gagan et al. All step up here in the second half?
Yeah, we talked about it with Gardner, right? This is probably your last home game. There's a lot of emotions that go with that, especially for your senior players. I think the key is, though, don't focus on the theatrics and stuff of what's going on tonight. You focus on this game, get back into it, and play just as you're supposed to. Kohler does it right there in the first possession. He's able to get a nice clean block, start the tempo right here in the second half.
Skyridge got it as close as 3 before the Cavemen were able to make it 11, as Kohler from the corner hits a 3. I believe that's his first field goal of the entire game. And it makes it a 30-22 game to start the second.
That already matches his point total for the first half. He's up to 6 now.
Here's Mulford. Hasn't had a night where he's had a lot of clean looks. Dent, nice spin move. As Gentry tried to come over and take the charge, but he wasn't set, so no call.
For me, I think if a body hits the floor, a call has to go one way or another. If you're going to call a block or a charge, no call there at that time. Very interesting.
Housley off the pick and roll, pull-up jumper, left it short, trying to chase his rebound, and Shepard grabs it.
Once again, good look for the Falcons, just not able to drop.
Dent, that's a great look for Diego Mulford. You know he can hit those. And this is the largest lead that AF has had tonight as Housley gets his pass picked. And a foul to stop the fast break.
I mentioned it in the first half. I just think the spacing by American Fork, especially in transition, is what's winning them this basketball game. Each of the players knows where they need to be. That time Mulford sneaks into the corner, right? So a lot of the focus is on the player bringing up into the half court. Cross-court pass, wide open 3, he's able to get it to go.
That's his first three-pointer he's made all night long, but he can hit those. His cousin Dash over at Alta said he's one of the best catch-and-shoot guards in the entire state. Tiger Cuff trying to lob it up, and a good foul there from Larson. Trying to cut off Reese Dent on the baseline.
Housley still active with those hands on defense, right? Keeps him up, stops over the head throw there by the guard Cuff, but he's able to retain it, and that's tough because Kohler was already trying to move in transition, get an open bucket, cause for a 5-on-4 opportunity there for the Cavemen. They keep the ball.
Cross court, Mulford, one more, Dent. Mulford to Tiger Cuff. It's like clockwork right now. This is the largest lead of the game for AF.
Larson was just in a bad spot that time on defense. He stayed in front of Tiger, and he was just able to throw an over-the-head shoulder pass. Easy layup that time for Cuff.
Nice pick and roll. Kohler gets to the basket, left-handed scoop, and scores. Already 5 points in the half for Jordan Kohler.
He's able to cook now. He's getting just a solo defender. They're not double teaming now in the post, so he's going to take advantage of that here in the second half.
Cuff and Housley just battling each other out front. It has been a battle between number 2 and number 1 all night long. So far, 2's gotten the better of 1. Rawson inside. And again, no call as Larson hit the floor once more. That's 2 in a row that the officials have not called.
So I think their key was, hey, go on the ground if you're in this post position. I just think they really need a double. At this point, force a jumper, and that will give you a better defensive look as Kohler's not able to get the bucket to go. I think that just gives you a better look on defense.
39-24 AF. This is their largest lead of the game. And a foul called on Housley as those two finally give way. Davis Fiance, Jackson Mosteller back in. Other side, Xander Hale also back in as well. Dowser goes to the bench. As Mulford. Some confusion as Ryan Cuff trying to move people in and out like chess pieces right now. .438 left, third quarter. 39-24 in favor of AF. They have led from start to finish. Other than the three-pointer by Gagan that gave the Falcons the early 3-2 lead, that has been it. Shepard, nice pull-up jumper from the free throw line. And Jeff Gardner's seen enough.
What a start to this second half. Every single score by the Cavemen here in this third quarter has been by a different player. And they're getting open looks, but they're also able to get these contested jumpers to go. Great look by the Cavemen as they now lead by 17.
And this is now their largest lead of the ball game, 17 points. They were up by 11 early on. They were up by 15, and now they're up by 17. It's a full timeout by Skyridge. We'll keep it, though, right here as Nate Thatcher, I turn to you. And this is about, I think, what we expected coming into this game. American Fork, the more physical team. You wondered how long Skyridge was going to hold on with American Fork. And now I think it's becoming clear as day, to us at least, that American Fork's size and athleticism is clearly winning the day.
Yeah, Jordan Kohler, I mean, the small bright side right now for Skyridge is he now has 5 points here in this third quarter alone when he only had 3 in the first half. But I think it's too little too late as the Cavemen were halted there in the second quarter by an active guard defense by the Falcons. And now they had halftime to adjust. What they're doing now is they're just actively passing, moving without the ball, and using the center of the half-court offense to distribute the ball, get open looks. And that last time, as Jared Shepard, I mean, now they're just making contested jumpers. And so when those shots start falling, I mean, it's really hard to try and get back into this one. As I mentioned at halftime, you really want to sneak this into a 2-possession game if you can going into the fourth.
Carson Mosteller, along with Davis Fiance, is now into the ball game. So really big shakeup here by Jeff Gardner, trying to find something to respond to this sudden American Fork onslaught here. Kohler, corner 3. He's now got 8 points here in the quarter.
Kohler's now able to space the floor. We've seen him get some good post looks. Now he's dropped 2 3-pointers here in the third.
Mulford dumps it down. Xander Hale goes up to the contact, left it short, gets his own rebound though, left that one short. Got a foul.
And I think Skyridge is hesitant on fouling. They're hesitant on being physical. You saw Kohler, he had his hands up, but he was nowhere near to being close to Xander Hale, as Hale was able to get 3 good looks at the bucket. None of them able to go down, but now he's at the free throw line.
It's the first. We remind you, the Rewind Sports Network and our coverage of high school basketball continues next week, Tuesday to Friday. Stick with us all week as we cover the best games of the playoffs from 4A to 6A. We'll have it all covered for you starting next week, Tuesday to Friday, on the Rewind Sports Network, your home of UHSAA playoff basketball. Hale goes 1 for 2. This matches the largest lead for AF. Again, what's at stake tonight? If American Fork is able to hold on and win, they will clinch at least a share of the Region 3 crown. If Skyridge is able to come back, however, win this game, then Lehigh will clinch the title outright. A lot riding on the line as Kohler puts that one in, but it was on the floor, so that'll be a foul against Xander Hale, his second.
If this was the NBA, that's an and one, right? Because continuation is a rule in the big leagues, obviously not in high school or the college ranks.
If you're playing in intramurals, that's also a continuation play, apparently.
But I think Kohler's now setting the tone, right? So we saw that Gardner made some heavy substitutions, so it's a lot of bench players. Kohler's really taking it upon himself to space out the floor and then get the looks that he wants to try and keep them in this game.
Tate Larson from the corner off the inbound, leaves it short. Rawson the rebound.
0 for 6 now. This is just a tough game for Tate.
Yeah, he's trying. I mean, he's had these moments where he's been hot and cold all season long, but here's Cuff, meanwhile, driving against Gahan. Count it and one. And this now the latest, largest lead for AF.
I mean, you just can't really play better defense, without fouling. And Tiger is just, I mean, you can just look at the height difference between him and the other guards. Takes a really good post step on the left side of the bucket. It's a tough look to go. And you can just see the emotion that the Cavemen have right now. I think they know what's on the line, right? They know they can be co-region champs with the dub tier tonight. And you can just see it in Tiger's eyes as he got that one to go.
Tiger Cuff, of course, committed to Weber State just last month. Housley rejects the dribble handoff there for Kohler. Kohler gets it back. And a blocking foul called.
So finally, we've got a foul call when a body hits the floor that time. But Kohler's taking a little bit of time to get up as his Gagan and Housley help him up. But as I've mentioned, he's a little limping a little bit now. But as I mentioned, Kohler is setting the tone, right? They're moving the offense to give him the shot that he wants. Tries to get a little drive on Ross and not able to work out. They're down 18 right now, though. This is going to be a tough look to try and get back in this one.
Out comes all the way to the backcourt. Larson. Dribble handoff now for Mosteller. Kicks it back to Kohler. Mosteller matched up against Clark. Mosteller goes to work. Banker goes. That's really the first time, Thatcher, we've seen Skyridge attack the paint.
And once again, I thought that was a great play call by Gardner. Lots of movement without the ball. They focused on the side. They wanted to get the bucket to go. Kohler acted kind of as a decoy, and a great post-present move that time by the Falcons.
18 on the shot clock. Cuff again matched up against Housley. Double team. Pass deflected, but got to Mulford. 10 on the shot clock. Got him work. Doesn't matter though. Rawson says, get out of my way.
My goodness, what a slam that time by Rawson.
As Kohler again shaken up as he gets up off the floor. Rawson and Kohler were both okay, thankfully. Reese Dent checks back in now. On the other side, you got Mosteller coming back in with Gentry. Skyridge has not gotten it closer than 9 points since midway through the second quarter. The closest they were was 3. That was way early in the second quarter. Larson, can he finally hit one?
0 for 7, and he made every single one of those during halftime as they were getting shots up. I mean, it's unfortunate to watch.
Now Luke Yates getting set to check in here. Number 21. Cuff.
There's a mismatch.
Yeah, you think? Took the words right out of my mouth there, Mr. Thatcher. As you normally do. And this now, the largest lead of the game.
Blake Rawson now up to 13 points. He's almost matched his first half total here in the third itself. And now it's just him dominating in the paint. We saw Tiger do it a few times as he goes to the bench. But Blake is just really seeing his opportunities. They're pulling great offensive matches there as he just has Tate Larson, the smallest guy on the floor. I mean, just take it to the rack. Not able to get the free throw to go, though.
A 20-point lead here. Luke Yates, who just checked into the ball game, kicks it back out. 1 minute left in the third quarter. Skyridge has been outscored here 19-10 here in this third. They're trying to look for some kind of response, any kind of response, as the shot clock comes down to 10. Housley with the mismatch. And a takeaway as Dowser rips it away there from Yates. 6-second difference between shot and game clock. Ryan Cuff will try to get his team to run at least one set before the end of the quarter. Shepard drives. Shepard, a lot of contact. Got it back though and scores. 5 seconds, 4. Down the floor, here's Housley underneath. Yates left it short, goes up again. And we have a foul before the buzzer. So we are going to have free throws before the quarter ends here. Yates will be shooting it uncontested, as the game clock reads triple zeros, but a foul occurred before then. So 2 more for Luke Yates. Second shot is good. And that now officially brings us to the end of the third quarter. It's all American Fork here tonight. They're 8 minutes away from a co-region championship. And the Cavemen looking dangerous as ever heading into the playoffs. Alexander Timolip and Nate Thatcher here for the final regular season quarter of this broadcast here at Skyridge. Hi, Alexander Timolip with Nate Thatcher once again. It is 51-31 AF here over Skyridge. Nate Thatcher, I just said it to Doug Jardine, our cameraman over there just now. If there's any one team you don't want to play right now in 6A, this team, the American Fork Cavemen, is definitely looking like the team you don't want to face right now. They are looking red hot. Yeah, when you're talking about teams that you're scared of facing in the postseason, it's usually teams that understand their identity. And it is very clear right now in this final regular season game that American Fork knows their identity. What is it? It's physical play in the post. They have absolutely dominated. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They didn't make an adjustment on the offensive side of the ball going into the second half. Absolutely dominated the third quarter down low. And Thatcher, we talked about it, right? I mean, you and I were witness to it 2 years ago when AF played over at the Marriott Center defeating Porter Canyon, is that this is what Ryan Cuff's teams are built on. I mean, they're built on big physical bodies. I mean, you think of guys in the past, the ones we saw 2 years ago, like Yaw Rainier, Noah Moyaki of old, and also Tiger Cuff, who was on that same team as well as a sophomore. This is what Ryan Cuff's teams are built on. Yeah, and what's nice is they're guys that love to get the best shot down low, but also they can shoot if they need to, right? But most of the time they don't need to, because they're getting looks that are just a few feet away from the rim. And like I mentioned, we've mentioned it all broadcast. They just have size, speed, athleticism that just sets them apart from the rest. James Ducker checked in at that last timeout, so you would assume based on that the seniors are going to be in here for the majority of this fourth quarter. Sandsrider Gentry, of course, he is not a senior. And of course, Cohen Fountain, who is still on the sideline walking around with that iced up knee, as Kohler just can't get anything to fall. It's been a tough night for him. Yeah, had a great third quarter, but besides that, just a cold night. Here's Jared Shepard. Heading down the stretch here, this one. American Fork looking loaded for bear and ready to make a run at the Huntsman Center again. It will be the third consecutive year that Ryan Cuff's team would get to the state championship. Here's a Tiger Cuff pulling up with 10 of the shot clock left. That one short. Gets his own rebound though. And his dad tells him to bring it back out. I mean, when you have a contested look, a jumper, and you're able to get your own rebound, I think that's saying something now about the lack of defense and execution on the physical side of the ball from the Falcons. Shepard, open three. That one is off the right rim. Short fight for the rebound, and Yates has it. Well, don't expect the Falcons to go away, though. They will do what they can to try to make this a respectable score as Housley drops Diego Mulford and scores. That's his first bucket of the second half. Yeah. drop Mulford like he was a toaster waffle. His nickname is Ego, and I know the kid, okay? I can say that.
Yeah, you had to do it.
I had to do it. I'm sorry. He almost paid me back with almost hitting a 3. Scrap for it on the floor. Yates is in there. Dust cloud. And finally, Kohler is able to get out of there. Kohler, step back 3. And Rawson collects the board. And a timeout is called by Ryan Cuff. It'll be a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here. And remind you that coming up at the conclusion of this evening's game, Thatcher and I will be selecting our choice for the Heidemann & Associates Player of the Game, presented by the full-service law firm, committed to winning for you, the client. Call them at 801-754-4240 today to schedule your free consultation with them. Well, Thatcher, as we head down the stretch here, even if Skyridge doesn't complete this comeback, we've seen in the past they have a propensity for knocking higher-seeded teams off in the playoffs. Just ask John Watkins at Copper Hills a couple of years ago. Skyridge came in as the decided underdog. They came out of there with a 1-point win. What do you think is dangerous about this Skyridge team that could give a lot of the higher-seeded teams they face problems?
I think it's just a matter of everyone else besides Jordan executing at the highest level possible. They're all capable of winning these big-time games, right? This is such a tough region. If they were able to get this win tonight, they would have been able to beat everyone in Region 3. But like I said, they're capable. It's just a matter of them actually doing it, right? So I think it's just a matter of the shot falling. If Jordan's able to stay hot from beginning to end, that allows for open shots from his teammates. That'll be critical going into postseason play.
Mulford got tripped on the baseline, but lost out of bounds. Rebound. It'll go back to American Fork, or rather to Skyridge. Just the 7th turnover. 6 of the turnovers from the 7 for American Fork came in the first half as Carson Moseller checks back in. Here comes Dane Housley. Takes the dribble handoff. Lost it. Fight for it on the floor. And we got a foul on Housley. It'll go back the other, or rather we got a timeout, I think. Yeah, we have a timeout. You see who called it. I think it was American Fork that called it. It is AF that called it, 30-second timeout. So once again, we'll keep it here. So, Thatcher, you talked about how Jordan Kohler needs to stay hot from beginning to end. And like we said, we've seen that happen once this year against Westlake, where he scored 30 points and almost single-handedly carried the Falcons to victory in that ball game. Who else do you think needs to have a breakout game in the playoffs?
I think it comes down to the 2 guards. I think it comes down to Dane Housley and Tate Larson. Housley has showed tonight when he's active on defense, using his hands, pickpocketing post players, that leads to great looks on the offensive side of the ball. And then for Tate, it's just a matter of the shot falling. He does such a good job of moving without the ball, and then when he gets it, he gets great looks from the perimeter. He's just got to get him to go down, because if he's able to do that, not only does that help his fellow guards, that goes back to Kohler and it opens up the post.
It also opens up something like that, as Rawson with the exclamation point on a great dish from Tyre Cuff. And this match is the largest AF lead of the night at 20.
We are personal witnesses of Blake Rawson's kingdom here in Lehigh, Utah tonight.
Dane Housley hits a 3. That's the 2nd field goal. It is all AF here in this one. It was an 18-15 game ever since then. It is 35-21 American Fork. The Cavemen looking every part the way of a dark horse contender that could tear up somebody's bracket. Shepard answers right back. His 2nd 3. As we're under 4 minutes to go here in the game.
I just in those last 2 offensive possession alone for the Cavemen, we're able to see great post presence once again by Rawson, and then they can shoot it from deep. I mean, they hit you from all sides.
Kohler hits a 3. Took some contact as well. He had 11 in the 3rd quarter, and now I believe he's up to 16 or 17. Rawson drives. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Shepard going right down Main Street. No basket. It's a foul on the floor. Xander Hale will check back in with 3:12 to go. 13 on the shot clock. Davis Fyans will also check in as well. So that will probably signal the end of Dane Housley's night. And Tiger Cuff also out as well. Rawson out as well, so that probably means the end of their nights with the score where it is, with 3:12 to go here in the ball game. I mean, Thatcher, if you were telling me coming into this game that American Fork was going to make this kind of a statement, the whole of 6A, I think, better be careful about playing Ryan Cuff's team right now as Mulford takes it strong.
This is the week, this is the month when you want to catch fire. American Fork is just executing on all levels, offense and defense. This is perfect as they go into postseason play. It's exactly what you want if you're a coach. And just like you mentioned, you should be scared to play this team right now.
And speaking of which, Thatcher, you brought it up. This is reminiscent of 2 years ago where American Fork got off to a slow start, then caught fire at the end of the regular season. 2 years later, it looks like we're seeing the same story again.
Yeah, the season is a matter of finding out who you are. It's great if you find it out early and if you stay consistent, but most of the time in basketball, it fluctuates. It's like a wave. But it's especially nice if you just learn along the way, you chunk out wins, but then by the end of it, you're moving like an engine. You're just steamrolling through. That's exactly what American Fork looks like right now.
Lyons misses that three. Fight for the rebound. Strap coming near the sideline. Yates comes out of there with it. Carson Mosteller out front. Just coming under 2 minutes to go here in the ball game. It's all American Fork here. That shot doesn't fall. Fight for the rebound underneath. And Thatcher, you have to appreciate the fight of Jeff Gardner's team coming down the stretch. I mean, they're fighting for every loose ball, as you would expect.
Yeah, that's what you want if you're a coach. You want effort. Obviously, this game is out of hand as they're down 19 with 2 minutes to go. But you just don't want a team that laxes off. And look at these guys. These are guys that don't get a lot of minutes usually. So they're going to give their best effort, when they're out there on the court.
Isa Almoy Longo is the one that checked in at that last stoppage. Clark checked in as well. Almoy Longo gets the steal here. Mosteller drives, and a foul. Foul going to be called on Jake Mulholland, who just checked in at that last stoppage as well. Diego Mulford going to check out. Christian Dowser going to come in. And all the subs are in here along with Justin Thorpe. With a minute 38 to go here in this game as Mosteller misses the first. The Rewind Sports Network's coverage of UHSAA playoff basketball begins next week, Tuesday through Friday. Stick with us for the best of 4A to 6A all week long, which culminates in the championship games on Saturday, March 2nd at the Huntsman Center in Salt Lake. Catch all the action with Dusty and Dane and all the boys, including me and Thatcher and Tyler Gibb, on your home for UHSAA championship basketball, the Rewind Sports Network. It is our favorite time of the year.
I think it needs to be said. Wow, what a backdoor move
And
that time.
There you go. What a great move there from James Tucker to dish it to Yates for the and one.
Oh my goodness. As I was mentioning before, I think it should be mentioned, the Huntsman Center is one of the most historic venues in all of college basketball. The fact that these high school teams get to play there in the postseason, I mean, you just have to take that in. That's the host to one of the greatest college basketball games of all time between Larry Bird and Magic Johnson back in the day. And so if you're steamrolling at the right time, if you're able to get shots to go down in the postseason, I mean, such a historic place to play. I love it for these guys.
We know at least one Region 3 team is going to be there.
Right.
We know at least one of them is going to be there. There could be a lot of them. Tucker, a little out of control with that pass, throws it out of bounds. American Fork will get their 15th win of the season. They'll be 8-2. And pending the outcome of the Lehigh Pleasant Grove game, they will have at least clinched a share of the Region 3 championship. As we are under 1 minute to go here in this game. All the subs are in for both sides as we're heading down the stretch. Thorpe hands off. Cale Flinders, number 3, is the one who checked into the last stoppage. Flinders has it, 6 on the shot clock. Kicks it into the corner. Little floater on the way. Count it and one! Almoy Walongo will get called for the foul, his first. As the run continues here for American Fork, Braylon Johnston and Max Hess now get set to check in. What a statement here made by American Fork tonight. 61-42. Yates backs him down, puts up the shot, goes. 61-44, shot clock is off. And Ryan Cuff gonna let his young guns back it out. As that is gonna do it. The American Fork Cavemen, with their 8th region win of the season, are co-champs in 6A Region 3 for the moment. Again, it'll depend on the outcome of the Lehigh Pleasant Grove game, but the Cavemen can celebrate at least a piece of the region crowd. We will be back to wrap it all up in just a little bit on the Rewind Sports Network. Welcome back, everybody, to this regular season finale of Skyridge Basketball, the Rewind Sports Network, presented by Heinemann & Associates, Alexander Smolip, and Nate Thatcher wrapping it up for you here. The American Fork Cavemen are 6A Region 3 champions. Co-champions or champions, whatever, they're champions. 61-44 over Skyridge. Nate, I think we know who the dark horse is now in 6A, but after tonight, this ain't no dark horse team anymore.
Yeah, we were mentioning it there in the fourth quarter. I think there's always a team who may be seated lower than maybe the other guys going into the tournament, but you just know the way that they played moving into postseason play, those guys are going to be at a tough play. And those boys in red tonight sure look like a tough competition no matter who's going to be across from them on the court.
So let's name our Heinemann Associates player of the game before we get to our last wrap-up. Nate, he set the tone early, and he finished it off late. Blake Rawson is our player of the game.
He had a few good slammers in there, too. Some nice dunks there in the post. Just as you mentioned, though, he set the presence, he set the tempo right from the get-go. He was able to get any look that he wanted in isolation, post presence, able to back up players, get shots that he wanted near the rim. I think this is a guy that takes advantage of his ability, his natural God-given ability, and then he uses it with high-level IQ. Tonight we saw that on perfect display as he drops 15 points here tonight.
So now as we head into this part of the season, we head into the playoffs now, I want to reiterate for the viewers at home that, you know, 6A is as wide open as it's ever been. Thatcher, in your eyes, just how wide open is 6A?
I think that defines it right there. It's wide open. It's anyone's game right now. There may be some years, right, when you have just an absolute legacy team, but I just think there's a lot of teams with depth and experience. I mean, just look at American Fork right now. A lot of seniors, guys that have been in the program for a while. They have the size, they have the height. Now they have the experience to take them into postseason play. I just think you can't count anyone out. Go back, look at Skyridge, right? We talked about Gardner and his ability to cause upsets in postseason play. I think he's a great, fantastic coach, draws up plays. It's just a matter of his players executing. But I think that those two words define it right there. It is wide open.
It is going to be wide open. It's going to be a great race to the finish to the Huntsman Center in a couple of weeks. Nate, everybody's 0-0 again, buddy.
Yep.
Let's buckle up. We got 2 more weeks, and then we're going to decide who's lifting the trophies.
Yeah, take it one game at a time. You can always focus at the end. You know there is going to be a trophy there. But right now you have to focus one game at a time. You treat every game like it's the final one, because technically it is if you lose. So it's win or go home. You have to take that mentality. It's do or die. And I think that all of these teams, especially in 6A, are going to have that focus and mentality going into the state tournament.
We are excited to bring it all to you. Thanks to Doug Jardine. Thanks to Vince Francis working with us tonight at TechWise. And thank you to Nate Thatcher for joining me all regular season long, and to Zach Hunter and to Tyler Gibb as well for joining me in the regular season. Now the real games begin, folks. We'll see you next Tuesday for the start of the playoffs on your home for UHSAA Championship Basketball, the Rewind Sports Network. For all of our crew, Alexander and Tim Liv saying good night from Lehigh. And once again, the final score, American Fork 61, Skyridge 44. Take care of one another, everyone. We'll see you soon.